human element, mainly basically saying that it is the industry's challenge, has been and will be as we go forward. Yesterday I was asked to determine the importance of a seafarer. Just to put that on figures, because at the end of the day, the owner is looking at a smoothly running ship, and the manager is there to make sure that the ship is looked after to the owner's satisfaction. So in Shipman, we all live by a budget. So if I look at an annual budget of a ship, if I look at a vessel's annual budget, 2/3 of that actually refer to crew. And looking at that side, 2/3 of that is actually the payroll. So the bottom line is, the invoice, the biggest invoice in the month, of every month, is the payroll. That gives you the importance of how crew, having the right people in the right positions to do the right job at the right time, with the right education, with the right training background, with the right experience, will contribute or not to a smoothly running ship. And that's the bottom line. Looking at some figures here, my colleague here highlighted earlier on that yes, PIMCO Manpower Report did predict that we have a current shortfall of officers. And in fact, over the next few years, the demand will be such where not only do we need to cover that shortfall, but we have to extend it further. With specific categories, especially on chemical, LNG, LPGs, going forward, will have larger requirements than the dry fleet. The report does suggest that in the past 5 years, the industry has made good progress with regards to recruitment, training, reducing officer wastage. But the report indicates that unless training levels are increased dramatically, the growth and demand for seafarers going forward would generate in serious shortage in the years to come. Since we've looked at officers, just to give reference that on the ratings front, and ratings, let's not underestimate, is 50% of the complement. Today, as we stand, we have a surplus of ratings in the industry compared to demand. So maybe we need to look at developing people as a tool going forward. Significantly, to mention that China will thought to have taken the Philippines as the largest single source of seafarers internationally. It is mentioned that the international shipping companies suggest that the extent of the Chinese seafarer available to international markets is more limited, with the Philippines and Russia seen as equally important, followed by Ukraine and India. Looking into tomorrow, let's have a look into tomorrow, the near tomorrow. I will give you I'll remind you, in fact, of a story you all know, and this is Kodak. The irony is that Kodak invented the digital camera, but as the story goes, and I'm sure you're all aware, the company failed to see the impact on smartphones and the way we take photos today and share with them. Actually, during the break, a lot of people were taking selfies to put on company websites, etc. So basically, what happened with Kodak, as we all know, they couldn't see the fundamental shift that was about to take place, and it was just under their nose. Shipping, our industry, cannot afford to be like Kodak. Digitalization is coming to the shipping industry, and it is coming very fast. So what we need to do is acknowledge it, accept it, sit down and determine how we're going to go about it, so we don't end up in a situation where we are behind. We do need to realize, we do need to be ready to seize opportunities that new technologies can offer, but we also need to be prepared to manage and mitigate the threats, the risks that come along. You also need to remember that the human element, our seafarers, are a very important factor to the safe and efficient shipping. When considering modern technology, we need to take the human element into consideration at every stage of the ship's life cycle, from design to building to running to commercial trading, even towards the end. Moving on, there was earlier reference to autonomous. New technology has made autonomous ships a reality. It is a fact. It has been discussed over the last few years. Unmanned ships, mainly being used currently for marine scientific research, generally smaller in length, operating coastal waters. So these are the very early days. However, it's there. It's already said hello. So we need to have a look at it. The IMO has set out to determine how the operation of autonomous ships might be introduced to the industry. Alongside the regulatory developments, there's also a large range of practical issues which will need to be resolved before we can see autonomous ships actually trading worldwide. And of course, the instant questions are like, what skills will the new seafarer need to cope with such new technology? Autonomous ships won't need as many seafarers on board, so probably we're looking at lesser numbers, but with more softer skills. What will be the role of those remaining, and how do we move from one step to the other? Who will be responsible for the cargo if the technology breaks down? What will be the service time for more advanced technology? All that said, the price and many more questions of practical nature would have to be answered before ship owners can determine whether this autonomous ship can actually be commercially viable. Putting that aside, we are a people industry, which brings us back to the beginning. There is a potential to bring dramatic change to our industry. Some of these changes may be exciting opportunities, and some of them may be serious challenges. Our industry may become a learner and a more transparent, but it could also make the industry more vulnerable, and we'll also need to manage and take measures to mitigate our cyber risk very carefully. Automation may be a means of improving safe operations, but it must ensure that the result is not simply pure crews stressed by greater administrative burdens. Applied technology must help our seafarers in their everyday tasks to reduce their current workload, to improve their communication with the shore, with their employers, with flag state, with the ports, and yet, but not least, with their families. Thank you for listening.